Hello everyone. Let's move on to the fifth episode of electricity series, which consists of resistivity and factors influencing the resistivity of the resistors. This topic is superbly important to your board exams, so kindly go through this session till the end. I am Monisha Pulikatra, teaching maths and physics from past 10 years, from 8th grade to 12th grade students. If you have any queries, doubts and suggestions, kindly comment me in the comment section below. Let's move on to the main part of this session, but not without reading an inspirational quote. The quote says, "Failure is so important. We speak about success all the time. It is the ability to resist failure or use failure that often leads to greater success." I have met people who don't want to try for fear of failing. So this quote is said by my favorite author J.K. Rowling. She says failure is also very important. If there is no experience of failure in life, then we never know the real strength in us. Failure always tells us the real human in us. Let's start the session. So coming to the part of electricity map. We have already completed electric current and circuits in episode 1, potential difference in episode 2, Ohm's law in episode 3, and series and parallel resistors in episode 4. Right? So now we are moving on to the resistivity and factors influencing the resistors. So if you have any doubt, check that episodes out. Right? So let's have a quick recap. So students, what is a resistor? So what is a resistor? We already know. A resistor is a passive two-terminal electrical component that implements electrical resistance as a circuit element. In electronic circuits, resistors are used to reduce current flow, adjust signal levels, to divide voltages, bias active elements. So these are some of the applications of resistors. The function of resistor is to oppose the electric current through it. Its main function is to oppose the flow of electric current. Next, the resistance can be calculated using Ohm's law. And the resistance of the resistor is dependent on the material and its shape. There are so many types of resistor which I have shown in the last episode. The two types in which the resistors are connected are one in series and the other in parallel. So what happens in series connection? In series connection, there will be high resistance and current flow will be less. But in parallel connection, there will be less resistance and current flow will be more. So these are all about resistance. Okay. Next, you remember what is Ohm's law? So Ohm's law is given by the formula V is equal to IR, where you can interchange it in either ways. That is, I is equal to V by R or R is equal to V by I. Whereas V is voltage, I is current and R is resistance. So from this formula, you can clearly understand that I, that is current, is inversely proportional to R resistance. Inversely proportional. What do you mean by inversely proportional? That is, if resistance R increases, the current decreases. And if resistance decreases, the current increases. So the name itself signifies that it resists the flow of current. Then a quick question for you. What type of materials are there inside a conductor? We already know what is a conductor. Conductor is something which allows the flow of current inside it. So what are the materials are there inside the conductor? Is it atoms, free electrons, impurities, or all of this? What are the materials inside a conductor? What type of materials are there inside a conductor? The answer is all of this. A conductor has everything. It has atoms, it has free electrons, it has impurities, and all of these materials. Okay, the answer is option D. Next, you tell me what kind of particles are there inside a copper. Copper is a conductor. It is a very good conductor and very cheap available. Okay, so that in all the electrical cables, copper is used because of its abundant availability and cost is little bit low. So what type of materials are there inside a copper? So this is the photo of a copper wire. So what type of materials are there? Is this material contain 100% of copper? So is this material made up of 100% of copper? No. there is no metal in the universe which will obtain only in pure form. Always there will be some impurities. So it has, as I already told you, it has atoms, it has electrons, it has impurities, all of this. The next question is gold ornaments, everyone know what is gold ornaments, right? So is gold ornaments made up of pure gold? Is gold ornaments always made up of pure gold? No. In order to make gold ornaments also, some impurities like copper, nickel is added in order to increase the hardness. Else you can't just bend. This ductile and malleable property will not be there in gold. So if we add copper, it will become a little bit harder. Okay, so some type of impurities are used. So the next question is, just you have to tell me what kind of particles present inside a conductor. Already I told you. So you can see here in the diagram, in the third diagram, the red dot. Okay, this is the image of the internal surface area of a conductor. It can be any conductor. So this is the internal surface area of a conductor. In this diagram, in the third diagram, the red one which you can see are the free electrons. The red dots in the third diagram, the red dots which you can see are the free electrons. The blue one with the plus symbol, you can see a little bit bigger element there with the plus symbol, that is atoms. You imagine it as atoms, and the atoms won't move. They are stationary. Atoms are always bonded, and electrons gets free from the external EMF, that is electromotive force, and they becomes free. Atoms only vibrate at their position. They can't move. Apart from atoms and free electrons, the black one which you can see, there is a black dot also in the third diagram. The black one which you can see here are impurities. Impurities means it is not clay, mud or something else. Impurities are nothing but other foreign atoms. Other foreign atoms. It can be atoms of some other elements. Okay, those atoms which are not from that particular element. It is not a part of that particular material. Then it is called as impurity. For example, if in copper, you imagine it is a copper element. Okay, if in copper, if I add iron, then iron will be the impurity here. So inside a conductor, there will be many more things like atoms, free electrons, impurities. And if we add some other element, it will become a foreign atom and it will become a impurity. Next is, which one of the particle moves when potential difference is applied across it? If in any material, if potential difference is included, then which material actually moves? Is it protons, electrons, impurities, neutrons? Which one will move? The movement will happen with the electrons. We know as the electrons flow, the charges flow, the current will be obtained, right? So when electrons starts moving from one place to another, don't think it has eyes to move. Okay, the EMF makes the electrons move from one direction to another. They start colliding with each other. When there is a random movement of electrons taking place, they collide with each other. They collide with impurities, they collide with atoms, also with each other. And this collision creates resistance in the movement of the electrons. Okay, you imagine this as a crowd of people. Just to imagine you are moving fastly through a crowd. What happens? You usually collide with the people in front of you, and your momentum or speed decreases, right? So in the same way, when electrons starts colliding with one another, or impurities or atoms, its speed decreases. And this decrease in the movement of electrons, which indirectly cause the low flow of current. And this is called resistance. This atom's impurities does not allow free electrons to move that freely. So this is termed as resistance. These collisions are the opposition to the flow of electrons. And this collision is resistance. So we can conclude it as, if there is less collision, there will be less resistance. More number of collision, more resistance. You might understand the fact. If there is more number of collisions, there will be more resistance, and less number of collisions, very less resistance. Next, let me tell you a very interesting fact. For an electron to travel a distance of 15 centimeter, it's about our small scale. Okay, an electron to travel a distance of 15 centimeter, it takes 2 minutes. Not 2 seconds, it takes 2 minutes. Then how come this electricity is so fast? How come this electricity is so fast? So kindly look into it and comment me in the comment section below. You people have to answer this. My next question is, with what voltage you get electricity at home? It is it 25 volt, 220 volts, 11 volts, or 110 volts? With what voltage you get electricity at home? The answer is second one, 220 volts. Noted guys, everyone gets 220 volts supply from the government. Then you tell me, is it possible to change this voltage? Is it possible to change? Yes or no? Is it possible? The government is giving 220 volt. Is it possible to change this? No. Every single household will get 220 volt of voltage coming into their house, which is decided by the government, and we can't change it. You can't say that I won't use that much of voltage and don't give me. No, it is not possible. You can just take less amount of current. The usage of current can be less, but voltage is never possible. Okay. The next question is, does the devices like refrigerators, tube light, oven uses the same amount of current? Yes or no? The voltage which we get from the outer mains is 220 volt and we can't change it. But are the devices of your houses, that is refrigerator, washing machine, tube light, oven, everything uses the same current? No. Since we already know 220 volt is coming from mains to our house, which is a constant voltage, right? So if constant voltage is coming, then the current should also be constant, right? According to Ohm's law, we know what is Ohm's law. According to Ohm's law, the voltage is directly proportional to current. But now you need to think of a fact that if voltage is constant, the current will also be constant. Then how we can supply different current for different devices? Already I have told you, different devices are there in our house: laptop, refrigerator, washing machine, anything, tube light, and iPod, anything. Okay, sorry, not iPod. Everything needs different amount of current. If voltage is directly proportional to I, if voltage is constant, current also has to become constant because of the simulation I have used in the last episode. If voltage is constant, current will also be constant. Then how we can supply different current for different devices? Laptop needs a different current, oven needs a different current, tube light needs a different current. How by keeping voltage constant we can change the current? This can be done by series and parallel combination of resistors. Okay, in Ohm's law I already told you V is equal to IR. I is inversely proportional to R. That is, if I play with the resistance of the resistor, I can change the value of current needed for different devices. Okay, so why I am explaining this to you is, before knowing something, we need to know why we are reading it. We have to know the deep knowledge about anything which we are reading, not simply going to the bookish language. Okay, so this is where we need to read the factors affecting the resistance, the factors which actually affects the resistance to increase or decrease the resistance, so that we can give different amount of current to different devices. The first factor is length of a conductor. What happens if the length of a conductor increases or decreases? Okay, imagine there are two pipes and water flowing through it. Okay, when water flows through pipe, there will be a friction between wall of the pipe and the water. So wall of the pipe and the water, there will be friction. So which one of these two pipe offers more friction? There is first one which is a longer length and the second one which is a shorter length. Which one of these offers more friction? Obviously it is the first one, right? And imagine these two pipes as conductors and think the flow of electrons as the flow of water. Instead of flow of water, you think it as electrons are flowing. So what happens? As the length increases, number of atoms increases inside the pipe or a cable. Number of atoms also increases if the length increases. If the number of atoms increases, the number of collisions also increases. If the number of collision increases, the resistance also increases. I already told you, if collision increases, resistance also increases. So by this we can conclude that R is directly proportional to L. That is, if the length increases, the resistance also increases. It is always directly proportional to, resistance is directly proportional to length of a conductor. Coming to the second, that is area of cross sectional of a conductor. This one is very important, area of cross section. In the first case, it is a simple pipe. You can see two pipes here. In the first case, it is a simple pipe where water flows. In the second case, there is a bending in the middle of the pipe. You can see a small bend, okay, bending of a pipe. So in which case the water will face difficulty in moving? Just by seeing you can answer it. Obviously the second case. So lesser the area, more the resistance. If the area is very less, there will be more resistance. So if I use the same concept in conductors, as the cross section increases, if the area increased, space for electron increases. If the movement of electron is free, the collision decreases. So if collision decreases, resistance also decreases. The area or space between two atoms or impurities. If the area of space increases between two atoms, and if the cross-sectional area of a conductor also increases, so there will be very less number of collision and free electrons can move very freely. So this shows R is inversely proportional to area of cross section. In first case, R is directly proportional to L, and in the second case, R is inversely proportional to area of cross section. From these two principles, we can conclude a formula that is R is proportional to L by A, directly proportional to L and inversely proportional to E. But here, how should I kick this proportionality out? If I want to kick it out, then we need to insert a constant, right? So that constant is rho. Rho is a Greek letter. So that rho is called as resistivity. That rho is called as resistivity. Okay. From graph you can understand length of a wire is directly proportional to L. Length of a wire is directly proportional to resistance. So you can see a straight graph. As R increases, length increases, R also increases. In cross-sectional area, it is inversely proportional. Next, I will just recap the whole thing about the factors because it is one of the most important questions which will be appearing in board exam. What are the factors influencing the resistance? First is length, the length of the wire. The greater the length of the wire, the more will be its resistance. This is because the number of collisions of atoms is more in a long wire than the short wire. Okay, first one is finished. Next is cross-sectional area. So cross-sectional area is a thinner wire offers more resistance while a thicker wire offers less resistance. In a thick wire, electrons can flow through a large area of cross-section. It can flow more freely. Okay, in area of cross-section area, thin, more resistance, thick, less resistance. Next, coming to nature of the material of a wire. The arrangement of atoms is different in different materials. If we take different material, if it is copper or tungsten, different type of material, okay, the arrangement of atoms is different in different material. The resistance of a conductor depends on collision between electrons and atoms of the material. I have already told you. So, resistance of a wire depends on its material. For example, copper offers less resistance than tungsten because the number of collision of the electrons in copper is very less than the number of collisions happening in tungsten. So the bulb glows brightly when copper is connected rather than tungsten. So you understood the material also. Next is temperature. With the increase in temperature, the number of collision of atoms also increases. Why? If the temperature increases, the movement of the electrons become more random. It will move very freely, like haphazard way it will move. So if the movement becomes more haphazard way, the collisions will also increases. So by the temperature increase, if the temperature increased, the collision also increases and the resistance also increases. So this is given by the formula R is equal to rho L by A. This is resistivity, rho is resistivity. So electrical resistivity is an intrinsic property. It is about the internal property of a material that quantifies how strongly a given material opposes the flow of current. That is resistivity. A low resistivity indicates a material that readily allows the movement of the electric charge. Then it is represented by a Greek letter rho. So just out of curiosity and to make the explanation a little more interesting, I inserted this picture in it. So you can easily remember the factors which influences the resistor. So one more time. In this you can see the smileys which you have to imagine it as electrons. The smiley will be electrons. So in the first factor, in a wire of short length, you can see here, this is a wire of very short length. Okay. In a wire of short length, the electrons moved very easily because of less number of collision. The smileys are making a emoji like oh, I made it, because there is less number of collisions, they came outwards so easily. But in the wire of much longer length, there will be much more collisions and a movement of the electrons will be bit slow. Thereby, it confirms that the resistance is more. In the second case, you can see the longer the length, the collision will be more. Okay. Next, coming to the second case. In second and third case, if the area is large and the electron can move freely, whereas in a wire of much smaller area has more number of collision. Next, in the case if the temperature rises in a wire, the vibration and there will be random movement of electrons causes greater collision. So the resistance is more. The next is a small activity where you need to answer me which of these wires show least resistance and why. Just answer me in the comment section below. Out of this A, B, C, D, which wire offers very least resistance? Okay. Going on to the next section. So now we need to know in depth what is resistivity in here. Resistivity is a resistance offered by a conductor of unit cross section and unit length. If length is 1 unit and area of cross section also 1 meter square, if we take both as unit areas, then resistivity will be equal to resistance. This is somewhat a bookish language now, but we need to understand the concept of it very deeply. Okay, for that, let me take a normal copper wire and connect it to a battery. You can see a normal copper wire which is connected to a battery. In this wire is also made up of atoms, impurities and free electrons. This copper wire is also made up of all these things. Yes, because every material are all made up of atoms, impurities and free electrons. Will that wire has any natural resistance? Will that material has any natural resistance? Without us doing anything. Don't you think every material has its own resistance to themselves? Yes, a very big yes. Every material has a natural resistance within it. It is not any external resistance giving, it is an internal property. It is resistance inbuilt. Okay, every material has a natural resistance within it and it is called resistivity of a material. Resistivity of a material. So just tell me, on what factors resistivity depends on? If it is an internal factor, what are the factors resistivity depends on? Do you think resistivity changes with the length of the wire? If the length of the wire increases, does the resistivity change? No, resistivity doesn't change with the increase or decrease in length. Next is, if the area of cross section increases, does the resistivity change? No. If the area of cross section increases or decreases, resistivity has nothing to do with that. Then on what factor the resistivity depends on? It depends only if a material changes. The resistivity changes only if the material changes. If we replace copper by tungsten, if we replace copper by some nichrome material, then only at that case the resistivity changes because it depends on the material. Different material has different resistivity because it is an internal property, not external behavior. Okay? So this one is very important, the difference between resistance and resistivity. So resistivity of a material is a resistance of a wire of that material of unit length and unit cross-sectional area. Whereas resistance is the opposition to the flow of electric current in a substance. Resistivity is an intrinsic property, I have already told you, whereas resistance is the extrinsic property. Next, the resistivity of a conductor is always same and is independent of the length and size. Even if length and size vary, nothing will happen to resistivity. But the resistance of a conductor is dependent on length and size. But resistance will change if length increases or size increases or decreases, the resistance will change. Next, last, the SI unit. The SI unit of resistivity is ohm meter, whereas resistance is ohms. A plain ohm. Next, students, about the science facts, we need to know about each and every factor and mysteries in the universe. If a person has only bookish language, then it is of no use. You need to know almost everything. Practically not possible to know everything in the world, but still we need to try grabbing all the information which comes our way. We need to grab as many information as possible which comes our way. I will just read out these things. Animals use Earth magnetic field for orientation. That is, lost land animals may not be able to find the way home, but sea animals might. According to US Geological Survey, there is an evidence that some animals like sea turtles and salmon have the ability to sense Earth's magnetic field and use this sense for navigation. Okay, sea turtles and salmons. Next, coming to our own crow. Everyone recognize that crow. But crows can also recognize us. Crows can recognize human faces and hold grudge against the ones they don't like. If they don't like a person, they can actually feel and take a revenge on them. Okay. Next, coming to dolphins. Dolphins live with only half of their brain and with one eye open, so they can watch for predators and other threats. So, in order to avoid those things, they will open their one eye and sleep. Next, coming to one of the interesting fact, only female mosquitoes bite humans and not animals. Only female mosquitoes, not the male mosquito. Okay, so all these malaria, dengue, chikungunya, whatever diseases are causing by mosquito, everything is from a female mosquito, not by a male mosquito. Mosquitoes are the deadliest animals on earth, and they are known from as far as back from the Triassic period, that is 400 million years ago. Only female mosquito bite humans and animals. Males feed only on flower nectar. Female mosquitoes find their prey with the help of sight and smell. Blood from humans and animals is used as a protein for the eggs. For their survival of the eggs, they are biting us, and thus necessary in order. Then the last thing is the venom from this deadly snake. The snake name is boomslang. The venom from this deadly boomslang snake causes you to bleed from every hole in your body until you die. Dangerous. Acknowledgement. Images and video clips have been taken from various sources of the internet. Some images and video clips have been modified according to the syllabus. Image courtesy google.com, video courtesy youtube.com. Use this video for educational purpose only. Thank you. If you have any queries or doubts, please comment me on the comment section and subscribe my channel so that I can input as many videos as possible. Thanks. Thank you. Thanks a lot.